Good evening and welcome to Psychic Call Shop. I'm Aeson Knight, and of course I'm with Techie with the mostest, Techie Joe.
Hello.
Hello. Do you want to talk about what we're doing while I'm doing it?
I don't know. What are we doing and why are you doing it?
Well, I'm posting over on the Face Lost a Book.
Alrighty.
We're broadcasting on the YouTube.
We are. Yeah, so we're doing that versus Facebook because yet again we are going through the rash of the copyrighted music strikes.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you not aware, we are not using copyrighted music. We're using publicly available, free to use, literally promoted as. Hi, would you like to just add music to your stream? Music. So for whatever reason, and I think it has a lot to do with their creators also using the same music.
Mm-hmm.
And so because it is part of someone else's show somewhere.
That Chinese cooking show that we get tagged in all the time. They've made more money off of me than George did at the Palace.
Yeah, well, and again, I think it's all an automated, like, we found your content. And it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
You really didn't.
Yeah.
Like, we're not using someone else's show. We're not, we've tried to be very, very careful when we do use other people's content to use it in fair use. And we certainly are not stealing music.
Right.
Because we do our best to be as supportive as we can of artists. Like you're paying your royalties and stuff to like DJ in Second Life. Like you have licensed software to do that for like up to 50 people at a time to hear songs and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, but here we sit in 2024 and algorithms and AI rule the universe. And it's really frustrating when it gets it wrong.
Well, and it doesn't just get it wrong once.
Oh no, it gets.
I was filing disputes on 52 videos on 3 different pages, and I went, no, I'm done. We are done. We are cooked. We would just do one YouTube channel. Everything will go through Aeson Knight. We'll maintain the Psychic Coffee Shop channel, but everything is going to go through the one YouTube channel.
Right. And a lot of that has to do with start a stream, they said. Do a podcast, they said. It'll be fun. This is the part they don't tell you about.
Yes.
Is that, there are pitfalls to doing this. That even if you're great at it, even if you're not, you get stuck with having to do a lot of extra things than just turn on a camera and show up
and talk
yeah, or discuss or find art, like, because there is a certain amount of it that of things that go into this.
Yeah.
And so again, it all sounds easy. And then it's like, oh, here's the other stuff you get to deal with as a content creator.
Yeah. And you get to get up, what was it, a half hour earlier than I normally do this morning to go through 300 emails. Each of them were dispute emails with Facebook for content. Your content has been is revenue sharing. Enough.
Like, stop it. Like, this is royalty-free music. This is, I mean, like, hi. And we've been through rashes of this, and it's usually a misidentification. Is that, like, because the way they treat it, it's like, no, you reposted someone's entire content. And it's like, I was there for the live stream. Like, tell me what I did. And then you get to the part that they're talking about, and it's like, it's our intro or it's our outro.
No, it's
That's who?
me.
Oh, it's you.
Literally, it's me. The section of the video is, "Hi, welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop. I'm Aeson Knight. Setting down with is the piece they're tagging for revenue sharing."
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even more screwed up.
Yeah, that's
Like,
insanity.
because we've gone through it in the past over the royalty-free music.
Right.
But if you're tagging the part where he's literally just saying the title of the show, how?
Yeah.
How? Unless you think you're defending something that just like you don't realize is us.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how in the world on the 2 Facebook pages we were going to, Aeson Knight and the Psychic Coffee Shop.
Yeah.
You could be confused.
Well, that and the number of restrictions, reporting, I don't got time with it.
Fair enough. Like, and it's a growing problem, and it's why lots of people really struggle.
Right.
Like to keep making content, to keep going through the grind, to keep doing the thing. Because it gets grindy.
Right.
The number of stupid things like this that you just have to sit there and it's like, are you serious?
Right.
Like if there were a human that you had to report this to, they would look at you after like 1 or 2 and be like, what is your problem?
Right.
Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like what are you doing? Because that doesn't make any sense. Like, it kills me.
Yeah. It's
like, and sometimes I wonder, is there some way to accidentally do it? Like, is someone like running a bot and then reporting the wrong videos?
No, I think it's malicious.
Well, there's also that. Like, go waste your afternoon.
Yeah. Like, point blank, it's malicious. Because, I come over here and I have, of course, we filter comments because of some of the topics we talk. Contents needs to be filtered. And, it's the same malarkey that's in the disputer in the reporting. And I ain't got time for this. I can't wake up 30 minutes early. I love my baristas to death. They all come over and watch on YouTube. This is where my viewership is. We're done.
Yeah, so we're done with that, but we will share out the links on social media. And so if you enjoy watching us through Facebook, please realize you're just going to be clicking a link.
Yeah.
Like if you follow us and that's how you usually get your notification. I hope you don't miss us.
Or better
because
yet, Patreon.
Like you're not going to get the link.
Right.
Yeah. Patreon's a lovely way. You can always catch us, after the stream ends. Like the content will still be there.
Right.
Like he'll go smack the bot and whatever he has to do.
Right.
To make sure the content gets there. And fight with it in one place.
Right.
Because this has also happened. We should point out, like there was a point, what was that, like 4 or 5 years ago now, where the YouTube algorithm went wonky. And it started deciding that all of everything we did was a copyright violation. That one really was. 2 different, totally unconnected, we knew nothing about the existence, but 2 totally different YouTubes were you happened upon liking the same music.
Yeah.
And so they had been using it long enough that it had become part of the matching for them. For a content violation.
Well, I think the artists actually sold their rights. They had given it to YouTube for free.
Mm-hmm.
And then they turned around and sold out. When a business sells out, it sells everything it owns, including the catalog.
Not realizing. Well, long story short, we got tagged for that. That's why we had one music change.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you know what, trying to fight this.
I got time. I will change the intro.
Like, we'll fight it for these, to keep our content, but we're not going to keep doing this.
Right.
Because every time we released an episode, we had to go fight it.
Right.
And it's like, screw it, we're not doing it. That's a pain in the butt. Just change the music, move forward.
Right. But you can go over to our Patreon. You can join as a free member. You get the same notifications. You don't get the extra content. You can choose to buy it if you want.
Yeah.
But you get the notifications. You'll get them better than YouTube ever thought about doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Hop over there, get it there.
Yeah, because that's been the other part. And I really got to talk about, I think we're on the verge.
As he freezes. Let's wait for his fast computer to catch up. Come on.
Well, fine.
There we go. Hi, honey.
Yeah. Hi there. So no, I think we are on the verge of a social media revolution. I don't know that 2025 is going to be the year, but maybe. In which I like call it my psychic prediction. If you like so dare. But I think everyone's getting really tired of Facebook shit.
Right.
Just in general, across the board, this is not what we signed up for.
Well, it isn't. And I shouldn't have to spend most of my days dealing with it when that's not my job.
Well, it's becoming a gangly beast.
It is.
Of like, I'm not seeing the content I want to see when I want to see it, like when it would be relevant.
Right.
And I'm getting repeating content when it's like, I've already seen that, I've already acknowledged that.
Right.
I don't need to keep interacting with it.
Yeah.
Like, like God help the people who have birthdays anymore.
Right.
Because I'll be seeing that stuff for days.
Weeks.
Like, it'll just keep bubbling back to the top. And it's like, I don't mean to be rude, but it's like, someone had a birthday. That's great. I tried to, do my best on wishing people happy birthdays. But after their birthday, it's kind of a, like, why do I need to keep seeing that so-and-so wished them a happy birthday and so-and-so wished them a happy birthday and so-and-so said this about their birthday?
Right.
Why?
Right. Well,
Like, why did you think that, like, where in the algorithm did you think that was relevant? Like, it's really useful the day of their birthday, maybe. Like, especially if you, like, see that I'm not responding.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you pop the notification, but I shot right past it. Yeah, bubble that up. Like, help me out here, dude. Like, keep me from forgetting, like, people's birthdays. Please. But then a week later, it's kind of, even if I did forget it, it's like, too late now.
Yeah.
So, and there's other content like that it just keeps pulling up, that it's like, that's irrelevant. And then it's like it finally gets it for a minute. And all of a sudden, it's like a week's worth of, like, major life events for people. Just down my wall.
Right.
And it's like,
Right. Well, I'm going to be consolidating by December. By the January 1, I'm going to have the Aeson Knight Facebook page, the Aeson Knight YouTube, and the Patreon.
Yeah.
Everything else, and the Aeson Knight Instagram, everything else, like the branded contents for certain platforms, is going away. Because a lot of those brands are closing down, whatever. I'm even thinking about closing the Psychic Coffee Shop and the Mountain Bears pages and just pushing it all into my one page.
I would just pull it all over to Aeson Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can get it.
Yeah. And we're broadcasting to this because we done the math and we were spending this software that we stream with doubled in price. The social media software I was using.
Oh my God, it's done so many price jumps.
When I signed up for them, it was $39.95 a year. Then it went to a monthly fee. Then it went to $157, and finally we canceled them on the 11th.
Of November.
Yeah,
because it's like, what are we doing? Like, are you, like, legitimately, are you even making that per month off the software?
Right.
Like, because that's always been my litmus test for stuff, and he can back me up on that. Is I don't care to pay for something, even if the price tag is like, oh my God.
Right.
If you're exceeding what it costs.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you can directly attribute the income.
Mm-hmm.
And sit there and go, okay, it's $1,500 a month, but I'm making like $4,000 off of it.
Right.
Then for sake, I don't care what you do. Pay that bill. Pay
Exactly.
that bill. Pay that bill.
Right.
Worth it. $1,500 out for $4,000 in. Worth it.
Right. And the thing
Like,
about
if it's
psychics, and psychics don't get that. They need to do analytics. They need to look and see where things are at, what's creating use, and where use is created. Mm-hmm. And I think that, we're seeing the industry constrict. I need to constrict.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's sort of like I got the okay, so with web hosting, this is totally switching gears a little, but it comes back to the point.
Right.
Is that so I doing website hosting and website design in addition to the computer repair that's become a smaller part of my business. But doing the website hosting and website design, I have a monster of a web hosting account.
Right.
It is a gangly collection of contracts and start dates and end dates and different fee levels because of when they were started and how they, all of this. And so I happened to be in the account because one of the big bills ran. Because let me tell you, that's a sucker punch every time one of those bad boys hits. I don't get, like, I already knew it was coming, but it was like, okay, here it is. Cry and move on. Because it does, but like I went ahead and tallied it up, and on this one, on just the web hosting, web hosting for the service that provides that, that is $1,500 and some dollars a year. I make money on top of that. Like, pay this money on top.
Right.
But there's like the realization, this is 44 invoices so far, because we still have a few weeks left in December. I'm sure I'll get charged for a couple more things, but $1,500 and some dollars. Like, one, I've broken $1,500 on how much my web hosting costs me a year. If you told me that when I started this business, my brain would have exploded.
Honey, I told you a lot of things when you started this business. You just looked at me and said, you don't. And I'm like, yes, we do.
Oh, well, but I mean, before this, because I've had that hosting contract through, like, before now.
Right.
But, like, so I'm talking about when I originally opened that account. If you told me that at some point my card's going to get hit for not only $1,500 worth of services a year, because there's a lot. Because all the domain registrations, all the SSL certificates, all the blah 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. Like, it's that, and that's just one line item. It's the biggest line item, but it's Well, actually, no, it's not.
No.
Technically. But anyway, one of the biggest line items for the business is that web hosting.
Right.
And it's a lot. So if you told me in the beginning that like my little baby plan be with one little contract, and it's like $100 and some a year, was going to grow by an order of magnitude,
Mm-hmm.
and then keep going,
Right.
like my brain would have exploded. Like, no way, man. Like, it's not gonna get that big. It's that big.
Right.
Like, it's a lot.
Right.
But it does. It's 40. It's for this year so far. 44 different invoices totaling $1,500 and some dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally like, it should work out to something like every 9 days I get charged something from them, ranging from $2.14, the most common charge, to because and that's a whole different concept.
Right.
To like 260 some dollars in one
Right.
because that's a double contract renewal.
Right.
Is that month I have 2 contracts that renew. So yeah, it's it is a moment. But then I have to sit down and go, but what do I make off of that? Like, what does that do for the business?
Right.
Like, and I have to sit down and go, how many of, because I freak out when I see the total, because it's a big number.
Right.
And so I have to back it up and go, okay, what is that per month? How many clients does it take to pay that?
Right.
Am I profitable? Because, like, that's kind of the thing is I don't need to make $1 million, but I don't want to sit here and have that moment where I run my business into the ground because I haven't processed what does my business cost me and how much am I taking in? Well, like, is it at least positive?
Right.
Because if it's not, I'm in trouble. And how positive is it? Like, is it self-supporting? Is it's sustainable? Where are we moving? And is it better than last year or worse?
Right.
And I kind of had a momentary freak out before I remembered you have contracts that haven't even, that I had to start a contract and I've already paid for that, but the client hasn't been billed yet.
Right.
Because I kind of had a moment with my AR going, what? And then I was like, no, we're fine. We're moving in a positive direction. It's good.
Right.
I have a couple of things to add. So, but yeah, it's this whole concept of like, where is your business going? How much is it costing you to get there? And is this just an overglorified hobby?
And exactly how much of an overglorified hobby?
I mean, and it's okay. Like, when you start a business, it's going to look like an overglorified hobby. Like, I'm just going to tell you right now that's how most businesses, unless you have the like once in a century idea, in which you can manage to make a low cost product that everyone wants, and you're selling things faster than you can make them.
Right.
So you're back ordered to Kingdom Come, like it's PS4 time,
right?
Or PS5 time. Like, unless you're doing that, most businesses when they start out look like an overglorified hobby. Your expenses are here,
right?
And you're somewhere around here on like how much are you making,
right?
Like, really, honestly, truly, till you get to the point that your income exceeds your expenses,
right?
And so, of course, the business has been there was there for a minute, in
Mhm.
which it's like, this ain't working out. Like, great for tax time. But
Right. But the other part of this, and this is what people don't get, and this is the reverse, and I've had this conversation with advisors. Now, granted, 24 years ago, as of November something or other, I made a post on it. I started this business with $250.
Mhm.
An advisor today cannot start their business and be fully functional for $250.
Oh God, no. Cannot
Yeah.
happen. Well, I mean, potentially it could, but you're going to have to get gifted or lease equipment to make
Mhm.
to pull that number off. Like, you're going to have to do a rent to own agreement on your devices,
Mhm.
or a structured payment plan on your devices
Mhm.
to be able to walk into the business, like starting it,
Yeah.
walk into it, or you're going to have to pre-have some really nice stuff and
Right.
like immediately make that decision.
Right.
And then you have to start budgeting for
Yeah.
this business has to turn a profit at least significant enough to be able in about a year to 18 months
Mhm.
to make sure you're keeping up on that tech cycle.
Yeah.
Because that's been the weirdest change in your business.
Mhm.
And especially on the phones, the computers, it's important, but on the phones, it's like critical.
Right.
Is how often you need to, like, on schedule,
Mhm.
replace that phone,
Right.
replace that phone,
Mhm.
replace that phone, because the apps are not really, and this is industry wide,
Mhm.
they are not working with like 3-year-old equipment.
Right.
Won't do it. It's dead. Chunk it. It's gone.
Right.
We're on to next. We are so far down the road. Like, you're not going to sit here and pick up an iPhone 6 and go work for Keen.
No.
You're not going to pick up an iPhone 6 and go to work for Purple Ocean.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work to go work for anywhere right now. I mean, and you're discounting the computer.
Not entirely. I'm saying it's important. It is important. But the phone has become critical.
Both of those are critical. Both of those are super critical. And here's why. Life Reader is computer based. Wispy is computer based. Bob is total computer based. Anything Click for Advisor based, you've got to have a full desktop.
Oh yeah, no, that is
that.
the critical moment. Is it does have to be a very powerful system.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going out and buying the Walmart $3.99 special, which I thought for the longest time we were never going to make it out of the Walmart $2.99 special.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's the $3.99 special that's moving towards the $4.99 special.
Mm-hmm.
And I still can't believe we're there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're buying the cheapest system on the shelf,
right,
you're not going to make it.
Right.
And that's a horrible reality to point out to people. Right. Is like, that's going to last you 5 minutes, and you're going to be right back to buy the next one.
Right.
Like,
well, my main system is what, 6 years old now, 5 years old?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a backup system that's newer, that has less power to it, and we're already specking out what my new main system is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's because, like, we managed to push that one far enough ahead.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't a cheap system.
No, this was
this was the intent.
$4,800 computer.
Yeah, and this is the intent.
Yeah.
I thought you'd get a little more time out of it. That's the sad reality.
Right.
I thought you'd get more time, and it's like, nope, that system, nope. Because I don't particularly, as an IT person, enjoy the idea
Uh-huh.
of repeatedly replacing equipment.
Right.
Like I like my longevity. I'm still attached to the idea that like 7 years is a minimum.
Uh-huh.
Like that's what I'm planning for. I will invest some significant money
Mm-hmm.
into getting there
Right.
because I don't have time to set up a new system every 6 months to a year
Mm-hmm.
to run my business.
Right.
Like there is so much on this computer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have room for a ton of downtime.
Right.
I don't have time to go reconfigure a whole other system.
Mm-hmm.
I hate ghosting machines.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense in large corporate deployments where you literally are deploying multiple copies of the exact same machine.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost it, image it, do whatever you want. That's a wonderful solution.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of trying to take my machine, ghost it over,
Mm-hmm.
image it over to a new machine, that's flipping nightmare. I want no part of.
Right.
Because it's not going to work right. It's going to be more headache than it's worth. I'm going to have to manually set it up and get everything back where I want it.
Right.
And I'm going to take a productivity hit from hell when it happens.
Right. Well, and recently I went back to one desk instead of two.
Mm-hmm.
I have a laptop. I have a laptop because I have to have a laptop. Actually, I have two laptops. And the saddest day was not when the saddest day I had was when I sat down at my silver laptop that was the coffee spill accident of giftness.
Yes. You lucked into the laptop, I swear.
Anyhow, and
like-
realized it could no longer run my business. I could no longer sit on the couch and work.
Mm-hmm. It was the first computer I gave you.
Second.
Second. Well, then what was the first?
Swivel your chair over to the war desk and look at the base.
No, that was number 2.
No, that was number 1.
Okay.
That computer has the guts of the HP that could not keep itself cool and your mana system.
Well, my previous.
Yeah.
Like because I did this system. Don't remind me. This one is technically supposed to have been replaced by now. It's still running fine. But it's probably in the 2026 at the latest replacement cycle.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. What you're talking about is we did cobble together a computer. I swear we did that after the laptop, though.
That was done. I need a hug night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I thought it was because the laptop, it really was pure accident. Like I had just finally gotten a new laptop. Remember, Krampus is watching. But no, yes, dear.
Do I need to pull the dossier and bring up those files?
Anyway, but no, because what I like the whole laptop, and I just want to explain that real quick. So I finally bought a new laptop for the business, and I was so excited. Because I do need a machine when I'm working on site for clients. It's not as big a part of my business as it used to be, but it's still an important one.
Mm-hmm.
So got all excited, found a really good deal, bought the computer, was so thrilled, tripped over and this was like first month of ownership, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think I hit 30 days with it yet. Tripped over the power cable and pulled the computer across the table it was sitting on and took out a coffee mug that spilled on it on its way down, and it landed hard on one side.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, first reaction is, "Oh God, the screen didn't break. The hinge is fine, and thank God there was nothing plugged in, besides the power cable, and it didn't seem to do any damage.
Mm-hmm.
But it took a bath in coffee,
Right.
and so called high warranty." Yeah, and explain that to them. Great, sure, send it in, not a problem, don't worry about it. And I'm sitting there watching it like a dog the whole time. And then it like they fixed it, they sent it back, and I got it back. It works beautifully. And I'm going, I can't rely on this
Right.
because it's been damaged.
Right.
So I went ahead and ordered a second new computer like within a month.
Right.
Some deal that was.
Mm-hmm.
I bought a pair of them. And so I was like, here, I can't technically use this in the business because I can't trust it.
Right.
Like, I can't take the risk that it might fail.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's already had damage, and 90th percentile, it's probably fixed expertly, through the warranty repair, and it'll never have a problem. I can't take the risk.
Right.
Like, I have to buy a new one. And so you're like, okay. I'm like, you're welcome to it. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. I can't guarantee it's going to last forever.
Right. It's 8 years in. And
I know, right?
It just doesn't run. I just don't have the speed. This is the whole thing that I cannot get advisors to understand. Speed. You want speed. You don't want economy. You want speed. Is that the highest internet you have? Is that the highest phone speed you have?
Yeah, well, and the reality is this has only been probably a 6-year development in the business.
Oh, no,
Like,
we're 9 years in.
Really?
Yeah, we're 9 years into flipper deployment.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, anyway. So the whole point being is that, like, it's been a massive change. Like, because there was a fair amount of people that were using older equipment, slower phones, or it didn't even matter. They were, it was purely phone, not smartphone.
Right.
That they were utilizing. And so there were a few people there that I think for a good few years were okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like the light switch flipped overnight, and it's like, do or die.
Right.
Do or die. So anyway.
So the 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you the exact day is October 15th, 2018. The business changed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying, about 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was lead up to it, like it was a coming.
Mm-hmm.
And some of y'all were getting the advantages of having extra fast equipment before that. But when it hit the mainstream, it all got different real quick.
Very.
Like, that was the do or die point, and you either got on board or you slowly withered on the vine.
Mm-hmm. And
going, I don't know what my problem is.
Right. And your problem is everything.
Yeah, is that, like, your industry did a shift,
mm-hmm.
and they didn't really clearly communicate that. Like, that was kind of bad on them.
Mm-hmm.
But literally every company went the same direction. Like, and it kind of felt like dominoes.
Right.
Is you either did it and figured it out, or someone else figured it out and told you.
Right.
Or you just sat there going, I don't understand.
Right.
Until, like, who are you again?
Right.
Like, you may have been a top performer like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Who are you again?
Right.
Like, you're still here?
Yeah. Like,
someone forget to fire you?
Yeah. And see, here's the thing, and here's the larger thing in this, and this is the problem. This is an advisor industry problem. They want to hold on to their nickels because they're afraid of their dimes.
They're okay.
Here's an example. I've done this up until about last month, and I said, "That's it." What the fuck am I doing? Bob Orman's Best American Psychics has an advertisement program that is superiorly low in the wide scheme of how much you can spend on advertisement. Comparatively, I just wouldn't do it. It's like, nope, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it, can't do it.
6 years he has talked about doing it. So what did I say?
Do it, do it, do it, do it. What?
Not what I said. What did I actually say? Because it's exactly what I said a few minutes ago. Is it going to pay for itself?
Yeah.
How long do you need to figure out if it's going to pay for itself?
Right.
If it at least pays for itself and doubles, it's worth it.
Right.
And how long can we afford for it to not pay for itself before we decide that's not viable?
Right.
Nice offer, great offer, not worth it.
Right.
Doesn't help my business enough to justify the expense.
Exactly. But we finally pulled the trigger. I'm loving it. I've got to really get in there and utilize it a lot more than what I am. But these are pieces. It's like, okay, let's start removing the distractions. Like, there's no longer a Mountain Bear page. Everything's going to go over to the coffee shop page, which we didn't have that many independent. There were 0 independent followers. So I'm just flooding people's feed.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it is one of those things. It's a struggle, even when you know and you've seen it and you've done it. It is, and kind of coming full circle, is you keep looking at the business expenses. And let me tell you, this is probably the most expensive period to date to run a business anyone has ever seen. You don't own shit anymore.
Right.
You don't own software.
Right.
It's software as a service now. Most of the major softwares I need professionally, that you need professionally, we have to pay a subscription.
Yeah.
You don't own a version of this. This is not Microsoft 97. And you get a little disc and with a little code, and you just computer to computer, it'll keep working until Microsoft decides, okay, you've literally milked this to death.
Right.
So it's no longer compatible, man. Not really what happens, but like it feels that way.
Right.
But ultimately, you don't own it. You don't like go, okay, I'll part with this $200 and I own it.
Right.
You get constant new versions, but you don't own them.
Right.
The minute that credit card doesn't charge,
right,
it turns off like the power company. Actually, a little faster. But it turns off.
Right.
It quits working. You don't have it. We need to reauth some payment device.
Right.
And it has become ubiquitous that like every piece of software, like you're not just buying in once, you have to buy in monthly.
Right.
Or pay the annual. And it is becoming one of the most expensive times I have ever seen to think about launching a business, starting a business, being in business, because every day something else moves to a subscription model.
Exactly.
They love the subscription model, and the subscription model doubles because you're our hostage, and that's become the new like mindset.
Mm-hmm.
of software as a service
Mm-hmm.
is we're taking you hostage. Like,
Yeah.
you've already bought in once, so we'll double you and you're still going to pay it.
Well, and it's because there's nothing like Outlook. There isn't. Nowhere on the planet.
Okay, continue.
Nothing that I can manage, file, sort 3,000 emails a day into the little boxes where they go, and they look so pretty, and I can manage through all of it.
Mm-hmm. Until Microsoft has finally gotten done doing the hatchet job they've been doing.
I know, but then something else will step in.
Yeah. And that's been the sad side too, is that like Microsoft's doing it, and I will gladly say it. Microsoft is taking a hatchet to themselves like Microsoft always does.
Yes.
Like, Microsoft has never had to worry about a single competitor because they are their own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
They have a software that is top of the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
And they will inevitably find a way to just keep whittling it down and whittling it down until it's no longer relevant.
Right.
You had the thing. You did the thing. You became the dominator. And then I don't know what Microsoft thinks, and they just slowly fade into obscurity. And they're doing it with Outlook. The new version of Outlook,
we could sell it.
Microsoft. What the hell is this crap? And every update makes it worse.
Yeah.
Like, and that's been the thing. Like, I was not thrilled with the new Outlook.
Mm-hmm.
When it released, I was not thrilled. I switched back to Classic, went, okay, fine, whatever.
All right.
Eventually, I was like, look, you're going to have to do this, because I started having to deal with some client Outlook issues, and it was because they were in the new, not the old. So I switched over, and I went, okay, this is horrible, but I'll deal. I'll get used to it. It's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have updated it and failed to update the Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Refused to update Classic for Gmail.
Right.
You can't even, like, if you're currently pulling your Gmail into old Outlook, be happy.
Right.
Be happy, because you're not going to be able to sign into a new Gmail account. If you try to add it, it's not going to work.
Right.
Because the authentication changed.
Mm-hmm.
If for any reason you de-authenticate an account that's currently working with old Outlook,
right,
you won't be able to re-authenticate it.
Right.
You will now have to go to the new Outlook. And it maintains independent. You can't just flip the switch, add the account, flip the switch again, check your email.
Right.
It doesn't work. It now operates like it's two separate programs.
Right.
And that was a really sad moment for a client recently.
Right.
Was I could not get that account to authenticate.
Mm-hmm.
Switched to the new Outlook. There it is.
Right.
Boom. Done. Happy. Works. And I have to leave a client with, this is the new Outlook. Make sure you refresh and close it often and reopen it.
Yeah.
Because you will miss email. I've quit using Outlook.
Okay.
Because I missed, so I had a whole week. I thought, wow, everyone's happy. No one needed anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that was with closing the program.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, Monday of the next week, I opened my account, opened Outlook again, and it's like it finally did a refresh.
Mm-hmm.
And like I had a week's worth of client email just pour in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, shoot me now.
Mm-hmm.
People have been waiting for stuff for a week thinking I'm non-responsive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, No, my email was up. I was like, wow, I'm having a really great week. Everyone's having a great week. It's a wonderful week. Just to come in that Monday morning and it's like, bleh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so mad. I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm going back to webmail. Screw it. Screw it.
Well, and you get by with webmail. I kill webmail. Anyhow.
Yeah. But anyway.
But
Sorry,
anyway,
we're kind of chatting.
chatting, psychic business, which is you're going to get a lot of that here now.
Yeah.
But maybe not if you're in South Korea. You know, since the president of South Korea declared martial law.
And apparently has now lifted the martial law order after backlash.
Oh, the backlash. We are in the streets and we want your head.
Oh, yeah. So demonstrators outside South Korea's National Assembly demand the president's resignation.
Right.
Demonstrators gathered Wednesday morning outside South, because remember, it's Wednesday there now. Wednesday morning outside South Korea's National Assembly to demand the resignation of President Yoon Suk Yeol. Horrible name. Or horrible pronunciation, sorry, of the name. Right. The crowd of around 100 people chanted to arrest him, trash him, and called for his impeachment and removal from office. According to CNN producers at the scene, there are growing calls for the president to step down after he declared martial law late Tuesday. The president lifted the measure hours later after lawmakers unanimously rejected his decree. There is a heavy police presence around the National Assembly following overnight protests. So what started this?
Him not liking that the parliament isn't moving at the speed of stupid.
Oh, my God. All right. So before that, because CNN's doing a developing story page with this one.
Yeah.
So I'm going back through the timeline. So the South Korean president's chief of staff and more than 10 senior secretaries to the president have submitted their resignation, according to the president's office. Though he has not yet resigned despite growing calls for him to step down over his late night martial law decree. President Yeol's political future hangs in the balance after his failed martial law attempt Tuesday. But the embattled South Korean president had already faced calls to resign this year as his popularity tanked, in large part due to a designer handbag.
All right.
So, yeah. Sorry, Yoon. I forget Asian name, reverse order. So Yoon's wife, First Lady Kim Karen-hee, was accused last year of accepting a $2,200 Christian Dior bag as a gift, a potential violation of South Korea's anti-graft law, which bans public officials and their spouses from receiving gifts worth more than $750 in connection with their public duties. The controversy began last November when a secretly filmed video surfaced online purporting to show Kim receiving a cloud blue calfskin Lady Dior pouch from a Korean American pastor, Choi Jae-young. Why do you keep bringing these? Please, you don't need to do this, the First Lady is heard saying in the video when presented with the gift. The footage does not show her taking the bag from Choi, though a Dior shopping bag is seen placed on a coffee table as they continue their conversation. Last month, authorities decided not to charge the First Lady over the allegations of inappropriately accepting gifts, including the handbag. The Yonhap news agency reported, citing Seoul prosecutors. But Yoon's response to the controversy hit his public standing. The president claimed the video was a political stunt aimed at influencing midterm elections, which the opposition won by a landslide, widely seen as a referendum on his rule.
No.
Oh.
And they say fashion can't change politics.
All of this over a bag and a $750 gift limit. I like, and I know $750 is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, when you're talking about someone at that level,
Mm-hmm.
and it's horrible to say,
Right.
A $2,000 bag isn't even.
Yeah.
Like that's contents of a swag bag.
Not even that. A $2,000 Dior bag. That is
Like,
maybe a makeup bag at best.
well, but yeah, that too. But like in terms of Dior, that it's cheap. But more importantly, and the point I was kind of making is that like $750 ain't gonna buy you much. To start with, like that's for people at this level, that's like gumball money. Like that's the 50 cents, the dollar you find in your couch cushions. Like $2,000 is nothing.
Well, let me even see what the cheapest bag is.
Like what? Breakfast at Tiffany's style. What's the cheapest thing you can buy from Dior?
$31.50, and I'm like, this maybe will hold my cell phone.
The 3,150 or
yeah.
Like, make sure to make that distinction. There is nothing for $30 at Dior.
Maybe a keychain, but no, this bag would possibly, and I do mean possibly, hold my cell phone and keys. Like I'd have to hold my cigarette lighter in my thing. But this even gets into larger schemes because the Bank of Korea held an emergency meeting at 9 a.m. their time. So 2 hours after he lifted the ban, executives got their asses rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had to pump the economy. And what I mean by that is they had already cut the rate by 25 points on the interest level last week because of some of his shit. This week, the chairman had to make a statement that they will use an unlimited amount of liquid assets to fuel the market if necessary. Is preparing to allocate 10 trillion won, 7.6 billion American, into the stock market. That is more than we bought GM for.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is a fun article related.
Okay.
Because we were just talking about, like, what is the cheapest thing?
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, we'll just like, and this is Breakfast at Tiffany's style, because that was the whole whole subplot of the movie,
right?
Was trying to have that Tiffany, what is the cheapest thing you can buy in the store?
Right.
Okay, so Dior, the cheapest thing you can buy is cotton pads for $25.
Okay.
This box of 100 Dior cotton pads will only set you back $25.
Okay.
Chanel, much the same thing. Chanel Le Cotton for $36.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another box of 100 cotton pads.
Mm-hmm.
Embossed with the double C.
Yes.
Chanel moisturizing hands for the price of $87. Versace slippers for $200.
And I hear they're not that comfortable.
They don't look it. They look like every cheap hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the nice hotel, but it's the cheap slippers you get that are like totally disposable. You're meant to take them with you or throw them away. No one cares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hermes, you can get nail polish for $78. Gucci has a lipstick for $72.
And their lipstick is good, but I understand their plastic sandals are not.
Oh, fair enough. Like, if nothing else, the Gucci lipstick container is gorgeous. I will say
it
that.
is gorgeous. The color's gorgeous.
Mhm.
Mhm. I'd pay that.
Swarovski. I'm saying it wrong, I know, but I'm having a moment.
Swarovski.
Swarovski. Anyway, you do it. I can't get it
Yeah,
tonight.
Swarovski have magnets.
Yeah, they have magnets for $38 with 6 options to choose from.
That would be beautiful hand sewn to a gown. You could do that easily. Hello, E6000.
I don't even know this brand.
Ramavon suitcases?
Yes.
You don't know this brand.
I don't. I swear to God, I've never seen or heard of it.
Hand it over.
Okay, you can take my gay card, whatever. But you can buy a sticker from them for $10.
Uh-huh.
That is their cheapest item. I've Saint Laurent. You can get a candle for $95. That's it. That is the cheapest items from luxury brands.
That is not. Louis Vuitton has a city guide for France for $39.
What? Oh, I took the ad as the end. Yeah, Louis Vuitton City Guide, French version, $39. Let's see. Oh, you can get a perfumed soap from Terre de Hermes for $40.
Gucci Oleon Diesel for aluminum and light pastel face glass for $49.
Yeah, gel face gloss for $49 from Gucci. Yeah. Tiffany wine glass for $60.
I have that.
It is crystal.
It is.
It is crystal. Let's see. Balenciaga. You can get logo socks in pink and white cotton for $125.
A pair.
Yeah. Jesus. Givenchy for $200. You can get an iPhone 12 case in black. It's a black rubber iPhone 12 case. Saint Laurent opium bracelet in crinkled leather for $255. Now that is a pretty bracelet.
It is gorgeous.
That is a style piece.
Yes.
Okay, and that is officially it.
That is officially it.
Yeah. So, like I said,
and weirdly, none of those are on my Christmas list.
Of course, nothing cheap is on your Christmas list.
Yes, a lot of cheap things are on my Christmas list, but none of those things are on my Christmas list.
Oh, well, there you go. Alrighty. So, anyway, so just like when you're talking about these major brands, though, it is hard to find an actual item you would gift.
Right.
That is of that it wouldn't just be weird. Like, here's your one wine glass.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a weird gift. A pair of socks for a really expensive brand. Like, it's hard finding low-cost items that would not violate this rule.
Like, if you just wait to TJ Maxx, they'll have them for like $20. Like, get with it.
I mean, Balenciaga may be misspelled.
Oh no! Wait till next season; it'll go on sale.
Well, that too. But again, you're trying to and again, okay, so one, no, you don't want a culture of graft, a political culture of graft. You really, really don't want that.
Right.
Understandably, I'm always for the anti-graft laws, but there's additionally the cultural significance of gifting does have its place.
Right.
And we do tend to engage in that somewhat universally in terms of state events and business meetings. There is a business side of corporate gifting.
Right.
And we do it with weddings. We do it with this. We do it with that. In which you're expected, it's token. It is not meant to be a graft moment. Give a gift, and it should be something nice and useful and whatever. But it's not meant to like buy someone's vote, buy
Right.
someone's political influence. It's a customary exchange
Right.
of deference and respect and
Right.
all these things. And trying to do that without it, and especially with inflation where it's going, trying to do that without like going to a dollar store just about at $750 is a hell of a limit.
Right. And see, here is the cultural problem there. Gifts are expected.
Well, and it can end up being a negative influence in business.
Like
you don't want to look cheap.
Right.
You don't want to look disrespectful. Like there's so it becomes at $750. Like, my God, our world has moved on from $750.
Right.
Again, when you're talking about someone at an elite level,
right?
That like $750, they probably have lost more out of their purse than that. You know what I mean? Like they've missed.
Yeah.
They've wasted more on like lunch,
right?
Than that.
They've spent more on in the street, but anyhow.
Yeah.
So NASA's finally getting a brain behind them.
Ooh, NASA has
instead of headlines, they really need to study like some, I don't know, astrology. They would have figured this out already.
Oh yeah, so NASA has found something on Uranus and Neptune. There are more than 5,000 of them. So the ice giants of the solar system have long been enigmas for science, Uranus and Neptune. Their beautiful blue-green colors hide under fat layers of thick atmosphere where mysteries abound. But now, according to pioneering research, there seems to be a very exciting new theory that both planets conceal huge oceans of water somewhere deep inside. Such an insight changes the idea of a much expanded distant world entirely, about which it may seriously change the way we think about life beyond Earth. In simulations conducted by planetary scientist Burkhard Militzer, it has been proposed that beneath the hydrogen-helium atmosphere surrounding Uranus and Neptune, the two planets have a layer of water about 5,000 miles thick. Under this extreme pressure, exceeding 60,000 times that of Earth's surface, water enters the state of a supercritical fluid, changing its properties from a gas to a liquid. Apart from this is a carbon-rich layer underneath, and the layer of conduction water may be responsible for explaining the tilted and asymmetric magnetic fields of these planets, as opposed to the stable dipole fields found in Earth, Jupiter, and Saturn. This could shed new light on the findings from Voyager 2 several decades ago. The training ended in 2023. So the deep oceans of Uranus and Neptune were discovered through advanced computer simulations based on machine learning. Militzer's simulations were conducted on 540 atoms under extreme conditions and could show the separation of water from hydrocarbons like methane and ammonia. This process interpreted how the gravity fields of the planets, measured by Voyager 2, match with the theoretical predictions of layered structures. These simulations are leapfrogging planetary science, as once it was impossible to understand how these complex atomic interactions happened under such extreme pressures. Interestingly, the layered interior structures of Uranus and Neptune may provide insight into some of the broad differences that really differentiate the solar system's gas giants, Jupiter and Saturn, from ice giants. Identifying these compositional signatures of planets will help understand their formation and evolution throughout the galaxy. So yeah, very
Yeah. 2034, they have to get their ass to Jupiter.
Oh, yeah. So space travel must occur by 2034 to take advantage of such a rare planetary configuration for Jupiter slingshot, the gravity to cut travel time dramatically to Uranus. So, yeah. Because they could use that to slingshot like a probe or literally visit. At least the neighborhood.
Yes.
Might not want to jump on the ice giant. Like, that might be a little difficult.
See, I'm debating really deeply if these are ice giants or if they are just believed to be ice giants, and that is actually a really heavy armament of ozone.
Oh, wouldn't that be a surprise?
Yeah.
Like, find out, no, this is just a planetary defense system. This literally is the aliens locked their door when they got to our neighborhood.
Yeah. Or nature itself created a really heavy, because ozone can be so heavy and so still based that it can lock in.
Yeah.
I mean, we still don't know what the storm on Jupiter is all about. I keep thinking that someone pissed him off, but what do I know?
Hey, it's possible there was just a moment there that, like, after we started, blasting the airwaves with "I Love Lucy," the aliens just went, "We are sick of this shit."
Exactly.
You are bombarding our planet.
Yes.
Just nope.
Turn it off, Erda.
Like, oh, that woman's voice again. Sorry, horrible jokes.
It seems weird.
That I think that I do think Lucille Ball would have enjoyed.
Oh, I think she would have enjoyed. She found that fascinating. She was very scientifically minded. But I just find it weird that in about 2,000 centuries, our voices will reach planet X on calculation.
Oh, yeah. Well, well, I mean, if we're ever broadcast.
We're already broadcast.
Well, but we're not. We're not necessarily bouncing off of any airwave signal.
Here we are.
Where? What?
We are on Spotify. Spotify is broadcasted via a satellite.
Oh, God. Now you know why we're going to get blown to smithereens in some future point. Turn it off! God!
Can someone change his Apple password? We're tired of listening to Joe whine about Aeson's cooking.
No, I mean, but like seriously, that like, can you imagine being on like the distant ends of another galaxy and just being bombarded with this signal? Like, shut up!
Yes.
Like, stop! What did we do? Like, we do not. And what is insurance? Because we're tired of hearing about people's auto insurance. We're not even sure what an auto is, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? But apparently this is funny to you, and we don't really get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, somewhere on another galaxy, there could be aliens sitting there going, "Will you blow them out of the sky?"
Yes.
Like, we've heard enough. Like, it was kind of cute and funny when that, like you landed on your moon. Like, that was entertaining. Like, I have a 5-year-old that can land on a moon. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's their daycare. I don't know. I'm just trying to envision what an alien life could be like.
I know, right? All right. So a case that I followed for now 30 years is making news again.
Oh, so John Benet Ramsey, documentary director, responds to Boulder police statement. The family is owed communication about DNA tests. So, quote, after being so mistreated by BPD's original investigation and the ripple effect of pain that the family has endured as a result, the Ramsey family is owed direct and specific communication, says Joe Berlinger after the department responded to his Netflix true crime docuseries. 1 week after the release of Netflix Cold Case, Who Killed John Benet Ramsey docuseries, the Boulder Police Department is responding to claims that it failed to properly investigate the 1996 murder of the 6-year-old pageant queen that remains unsolved nearly 30 years later. The killing of John Benet was an unspeakable crime, and this tragedy has never left our hearts, Boulder Police Chief Steve Redfern said in a statement to the Hollywood Reporter via Boulder Police Department Public Information Officer Diane Waugh. We are committed to following up on every lead, and we are continuing to work with DNA experts and our law enforcement partners around the country until this tragic case is solved. This investigation will always be a priority for the Boulder Police Department.
Really? Wasn't day one?
Doubling down on that statement, Waugh added in the email to THR, the Hollywood Reporter, the assertion that there is viable evidence and leads we are not pursuing to include DNA testing is completely false. In response to the Boulder Police Department's comments, Who Killed John Benet Ramsey, director and executive producer Joe Berlinger released a statement exclusively to THR calling on BPD to communicate directly with the Ramsey family, whom he says have been kept in the dark regarding any progress on the case. While the Boulder Police Department's 28-year track record does not inspire confidence, we applaud any concrete effort they are taking to solve this horrible crime. Neither we nor the Ramsey family said BPD is currently ignoring viable evidence and leads. We said that we just don't know if the Boulder Police Department is pursuing viable evidence or leads because they have not given any concrete information to the family. In fact, according to the family, BPD told the Ramseys almost 2 years ago that they were going to relaunch the investigation from the ground up using best practices and bring in new investigators with fresh eyes. According to our information, the family was also told that BPD would provide regular updates and keep them informed on all developments. To date, the Ramsey family says it has not received any meaningful updates. The Boulder Police Department may have requested the cold case team review in 2023, but our understanding is that the Colorado cold case team was established as a full-time part of the Colorado Bureau of Investigation in 2022. It advises on all cold cases across the state, not just the John Benet case. It is our understanding that the Ramsey family had to petition the governor of Colorado to have the case presented to the Colorado Cold Case Review Team. This seems like it would be a routine practice for any 20-plus-year-old child homicide. In John Benet's case, it required a public campaign to have this step completed. To our knowledge, no actions have been taken after the cold case review presented specific recommendations to BPD. We, the filmmaking team, and the Ramsey family believe that new DNA testing can solve this crime due to the incredible advancements in DNA technology since 1997. However, to our knowledge, BPD has not met with Bode Technology, Parabon Nanolabs, or Orthram. Orthram is now used routinely by other law enforcement agencies due to its amazing cold case track record, including recently solving the 1995 Morgan Nick kidnapping cold case with state-of-the-art DNA technology. We are under the impression that BPD has also refused to proceed with probabilistic genotype testing. Bode Technology, a leading forensic DNA analysis lab and current custodian of the data, can quickly complete the analysis. We are told that they just need BPD to sign a release form. Why has this form not been signed? So this goes on, and effectively it's not that there's new evidence. It's that within the confines of evidence collected originally,
Mm-hmm.
there is evidence, and there are now nearly 30 years of DNA advancements
Mm-hmm.
that could now process this evidence and at least potentially move the needle and give them more information to work with. And everyone's kind of sitting here going, so why haven't you done that? Why did we have to fight to get you to even think about sending it to cold case? Why did we, and why aren't we getting any updates? Why won't you at least just say, nope, we're not going to do that?
There was an article I read this week. I couldn't find it, but I read it.
Mm-hmm.
They have somebody that found connections to one of the victims of Jack the Ripper, family members. They traced them all the way back to that victim. Mm-hmm. That is over a 200-year-old case.
Mm-hmm.
But this police department can't fucking sign a release, and yes, I said the F word, to get the bed sheets tested, to get the rope tested.
And I think what we're running into is, or what this may end up being, and it's the sad state of funding for police investigations, and that there does come a point in which a case is cold, and trying to devote and prioritize resources for it. Because I'm sure that Bode Labs is not going to do this for free.
Right.
They're going to send an invoice to someone.
Right.
And it may not add any new or useful information.
Right.
And it or any information at all.
Right.
Than what they already knew, or may take up an entire sample and okay, we don't have that anymore.
Right.
So we got nothing here. And there may be a probability that's gone on that this may not even be a useful sample.
Right. We don't know.
We don't know. But do we want to burn it to get a little information?
Right.
When maybe in another 10 years, we might not have to burn the whole sample. And when I say burn, I mean use it up. On a very expensive test that might not give us anything more than we already know.
Right.
Or may, completely lose the sample in like 5 more years. Additionally, because of the age of a case, it begins to lose priority.
Well, if there's a funding problem, I will predict and guarantee if the Boulder Police Department would post a GoFundMe for whatever the bill is, that the police department would collect twice as that amount in 48 hours or less.
And they probably would. And the sad reality of that is it's still... You're going to be pulling resources to investigate a case where the victim's already deceased. Like, you're not bringing her back. At this point, 30 years later, the perpetrator of the crime has either... It was a one-off situation, or they have gone on to commit other crimes.
Right.
And either they've been arrested, they've moved somewhere else, or they are still active in this community. And it is unfortunate that they have not gotten caught.
Right.
And one day this may be the case that ties it all together. But the reality is, unless you are actively investigating someone or more cases that are like John Bonet,
right,
to try to find a link, you're not unfortunately, while you would get justice for John Bonet, which I understand how important that is, you're not stopping an active criminal.
One, you are, because once you're a criminal, you're always a criminal, especially a murderer. Two, you're not only getting justice for John Bonet, you're getting justice for her mother. You're getting justice for the father. You're getting justice for the family in general, who were all tried, convicted, everything else on live TV.
Mm-hmm.
And this case is so botched. They never secured the scene. They never processed the evidence. I'm telling you, there is evidence still sitting in boxes they never touched.
Mm-hmm.
Past putting it in a box.
Yeah. And that's the sad state of a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Like, and some of those in the beginning, it's because the samples weren't big enough to test at all. Like, nothing we could do in 97 was going to make that useful.
Right.
But, hey, we held on to it. We preserved it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll see where this goes in another decade or 2 or 3 or 4. Maybe in the future, this will be useful.
Mm-hmm.
But it becomes the fundamental problem is you still have crimes happening in these communities that are requiring resources for DNA testing, for forensic evidence testing, for connection to other cases. We don't really prioritize these budgets to start with.
Right.
And there are some crimes that just have no priority. The number of untested rape kits in this country is staggering.
Especially when that specifically, a lot of people do not know there's a gentleman in Las Vegas. I know the last name is One. W-E-N, One. Or that may be the first name. It's an Asian name. They personally fund a lot of these. Like, they just write the check.
And believe me, it's very useful when they do. But then when you start talking about a 30-year-old case, sometimes the realities are, and especially with cold cases, you have hopefully been able to process the death, move forward with your life, not move on, but move forward with your life, and have gotten to a point that this is not the center of your universe. When you rip a cold case forward and we caught them, you get dumped back 30 years. You are back in the media circus. You are back in courtrooms. You are back in front of someone that maybe it's your next door neighbor for the last 40 years. Maybe it's someone you just had Thanksgiving dinner with. Maybe it's someone you work with. Whatever. You just now had to jump back 30 years to who you were in that moment and deal with the repercussions. It's literally like getting the gut punch again of the original crime. On a 30-year tape delay. You know what I mean? Like you go from that moment where it all originally happened to this quit being like the center of your universe, and you have existed in this unknowing to now you know. And you are right back where you started. And for some people, that could be devastating.
It could be, but this family specifically has demanded answers. They were treated horribly by this police department. They were treated horribly.
And nowhere am I saying they don't deserve that.
Right.
No way do I want to say that. But I think there's also the realization, because her parents have got to be almost 70 by now, aren't they?
No, one is dead. The mother is dead.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Her mother had passed.
Yeah.
And let's see. Yeah. John Bonet's father is 80.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the likelihood that you're going to catch her killer
Right.
and bring all this back forward for him and not kill him, I mean, he's going to have to be in some damn good health. Because if you pull him back 30 years, it may be the last thing he does is find out who killed his daughter and drops like a rock.
Right.
Like, is what I'm saying. Is that's the realities.
Right.
Like, he's 80 years old.
Right.
Like, I figured he had to be at least 60. Because
Right.
I'm going, well, like, she was not like the oldest child, I don't think. And I remember them being a little bit like they weren't like 18-year-old parents.
Right.
So I'm going at least 20 some years on top of it's been 30 years plus another decade, maybe. I thought that at the youngest they would be 60, but yeah, no, 80.
Right.
Like 80. Like this.
Right.
I mean, I just try to picture the sad old man sitting in court.
I think that it would be very traumatizing for him, but at the same time, it would put him to rest, since he was suspect number 2.
It would let him, but I also think it may cause him to rest in peace. Like, is the sad reality. And I'm not saying that's a reason to just put it on a shelf and let it collect dust. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that is part of the reality of this. And that even if you catch this perpetrator who has done this to this child, there's no telling who, you know what I mean? Like you can imagine this monster all you want that did this. Somehow they have moved forward in their life or died soon after. So you're either talking about like someone's law-abiding grandpa, because clearly you moved on with your life and didn't do that again, or someone who's gone to prison for a different crime, someone who's already deceased,
right?
And it's not going to lessen that trauma for him.
Right.
It's not. It's never going to lessen that trauma. Like, no matter what they come back with, like it's your neighbor that's been deceased for 20 years.
I disagree, but we can disagree because this case is a close case. All right, so let's find out if you're an asshole.
Close case. All right. So, am I the asshole for refusing to make Starbucks drinks for my family on Thanksgiving? Am I the asshole for refusing to make Starbucks drinks for my family on Thanksgiving? I, 28 female, worked at Starbucks for a little over 2 years. And ever since then, my family has loved asking me to recreate their favorite drinks at home. I don't mind doing it once in a while, but it's not exactly my favorite thing, especially because I don't have all the equipment or supplies that Starbucks has. This Thanksgiving, my mom hosted dinner and invited a bunch of extended family. After we finished eating, she casually announced, "Okay, everyone, my name, will be making Starbucks drinks for dessert." I was totally blindsided. Apparently, she had bought a bunch of syrups, whipped cream, and even a little espresso machine just for this. When I said I don't really feel like making drinks for 15 plus people, my mom got super annoyed and said, "It's not that hard for you. You used to do this all the time at work." A few of my cousins started chiming in too, saying it would be fun and that they'd help. But I didn't come to Thanksgiving to play barista for the whole family, so I stood my ground. Now my mom is upset, saying I embarrassed her after she went out of her way to buy all the supplies. Some of my family thinks I was being selfish and that it wouldn't have taken that long. I just wanted to enjoy the holiday, not work for it. Am I the asshole?
Nope.
Yeah. I'm just like, what is wrong with people?
Well,
One, not the asshole. I'm totally in agreement. Not
right.
the asshole. Not the asshole. But really?
Yeah.
What? Like, process this with me. Okay, so you used to work at Starbucks,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that, you apparently just love doing this for like shits and giggles.
Mm-hmm.
Is your mom's assumption, and that the only problem
Mm-hmm.
was that she didn't have the necessary equipment, which I'm sure you've brought up while doing this in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as a gift,
Yeah.
as a surprise for you, she bought more equipment, more stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then basically decided to pimp you out for Thanksgiving
Right.
to recreate your barista dream. Like, how, like, I don't typically make dementia jokes, but like, could you get your mother a mini mental status exam? Because I don't think she's playing with full deck.
Well, I think she's following with full deck, and we see this.
Like,
We see this.
I'm really not trying to make light of dementia. I'm really not.
No,
But like, I feel like she's not playing with full deck here. Like, where, how, what is the connection in your brain that made all of that work for you, Mom?
honey, how many times have we gone to social engagements?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you have your tarot deck? I need a reading. Make an appointment. Hey, you're coming over next week. Can you bring the tarot deck with you? Excuse me?
So you would like a free tarot reading, is what you're saying? Would you like to make an appointment and pay me money?
Yeah.
No, and I do kind of understand that, like, current career, like, you know, tell someone you're an IT person, you will hear about their computer problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a thing. Now, granted, if you showed up with 15 computers for me to fix, oh, you better believe our friendship, our relationship, whatever, just hit rock bottom.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's gonna get ugly. Because
So
all
Auntie doesn't need to clean out her cabinet?
Oh, no. No, seriously, I had one friend from college
Mm-hmm.
who pulled a stunt with me.
Right.
And I've talked about it on here before. I'll run through it real fast. So she was having a party and was calling to tell me about it, and invite me to it. And, oh, while you're here, I'm having this computer problem. Would you mind taking a look? And I was like, sure, I'll take a look, no problem. So I left my house going towards this party because I had a bit of a drive to go. And anyway, I get probably 20 miles down the road and my phone rings, my cell phone rings. And she says, oh, hey, we got it fixed. You don't really have to come to the party if you don't want to. And I went, excuse me? And I said, so basically you only invited me to the party to get your computer fixed. You didn't actually care if I showed up as long as your computer issue was solved. So the minute your computer issue was done, I was no longer necessary, but I could come if I wanted to.
Mm-mm-mm.
No, I won't be coming to your party, and F you very much.
Right.
Like, that was rude.
Yes.
Like, I called her out on it. I was like, that was rude. Don't do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel really insulted right now. It was, well, I didn't mean it like that. I'm like, yes, you did.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly verbatim what you did.
Right.
Don't do that again. So Brenda says, turn and say, hey, Mom, since you're a tax consultant, Are you doing everyone taxes for free as a Christmas present this year? That's another running joke in our family. I have a sister. It's like, don't ask me a damn thing about your insurance benefits. No.
She gets scared. She'd be scared. Any of them that wants to volunteer to do our taxes will be scared.
No, well, my sister will actually quote her hourly rate. Is her entire response for that is, I will be happy to help you, and my hourly rate is. And just stare at you until you figure it out. And like, that's your brother. Like, you think just knowing her tangentially is going to get you like benefit? No. Nope. Nope.
Right. All right. So the poll is up. Go ahead and vote. Your choices are always yes, you're an asshole. No, you're not an asshole. Everyone is shitty here, and damn, you're a dill pickle. Dill pickles are when there is no solution to your assholeness.
All right.
So let's hop over to dating advice.
Yes, he learned the grass isn't greener. Now what? 35 female dating 40 male. A few weeks ago, my boyfriend broke up with me out of the blue. It wasn't I can't do this right now, but it might work in the future reason, and was a breakup, and was a breakup, not a break, but we agreed the door wasn't closed. 7 days later, I reached out and asked if he wanted to join me at tennis, which he quickly agreed to, even asking me to get a drink after, where he said we should start hanging out again. A few days later, we officially got back together, so we were broken up for a total of 11 days. Since then, I've learned that during those 11 days, he hooked up with his neighbor and even took her on a weekend trip with his family. The worst part is that she and I have a casual relationship, so I know her. We've all hung out together, and it's a very social neighborhood, so I'm going to see her a lot. He came right back to me and says he's all in on me, us, but while he technically didn't cheat, he had an emotional and physical connection with someone else. I've always been so secure with this relationship, and he's never given me a reason to not trust him. But now I can't trust when he's home alone since she lives downstairs. I'm so grossed out and never want to go to his place again because of it. We were at the point where marriage was in the near future, so it feels like he had to get something out of his system or see if the grass is greener elsewhere. So, I mean, I get it, but I'm really struggling with this. Any advice?
Don't move in with him.
Oh, this is bad. This is almost worse than cheating.
Well, it is, but it isn't.
You know what I mean, though?
Right.
Like, God.
Yeah, but, this is evidently and clearly a situation that he's going to have to navigate through. It's obvious you aren't ready for marriage.
No. I think this relationship is over personally. Like, I think you've caught the ick and it's just done. And I don't fault this ick.
Right.
No, he technically didn't cheat on you. I will legitimately go down. There will be a hill I would die on. This is worse than cheating.
Right.
This is worse than cheating. The reason I say that is, at least if he had cheated, if he had just gone to a bar, gotten drunk, had a one-night stand with some random 2 counties over, that would be bad.
Right.
But you wouldn't see them. You may never meet them. You wouldn't have this.
Right.
Meanwhile, he chose a neighbor.
Right.
That he was interested in. I give him props for like following all the technical steps for before you cheat. get out of the relationship you are in before you pursue something else.
See, he missed that 30-day waiting period.
Yeah, really. But technically, not a cheater. Like, she's not wrong. He didn't cheat. But again, the hill I would die on is this is worse. Like, I would have literally, like, personally, if it were me, trying to navigate like this situation, just fucking cheat on me. Have a one-night stand. I don't give a shit comparatively.
Right.
If you go next door, like, break up with me, and like, I don't know, a couple hours later, take the neighbor on a weekend trip with your family, and oh well, that didn't really work out, so y'all break up, and then, hey baby, how you doing? No. Now I have to look at the person, and I have to deal with your family going, what the fuck was that?
Right.
No, I'm out. No, sorry. Peace. Would have rather you had a string of one-night stands with randoms.
Right.
Than have to walk back into this like I'm a doormat. Because that's what it's going to feel like. That's what it's going to be like. Is he didn't technically cheat, but like letter of the law, spirit of the law. Letter of the rules of dating, he didn't cheat.
Right.
Spirit of not cheating in a relationship. This is worse.
Right. I think it's worse. I think that you got to sit down and really negotiate new boundaries. Like, this is a restart of the relationship, which puts you back at casual dating. Do not collect gold. Do not go to the wedding venue. Do not pick out your dress.
I say find your self-respect somewhere else, because it ain't here.
Right.
Like, and pick yourself up off his front porch. You doormat. Well, pick yourself up off his front porch and go somewhere else.
Well, my opinion is the only way I would continue even taking his ass back is if he moved.
Yeah, that should be A1 on the list.
Right.
Like, I don't care how great the view is, how wonderful the apartment is, how rent controlled it is. I don't care. Get out.
And not in my house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, not the time to move in together. But even still, I'm like, no. Yeah. I would deal with like a one-night stand resulting in a pregnancy.
Right.
Better than this situation. Because, again, this is worse.
Yes.
Like, this is like, you knew what you were doing when you broke up. You immediately did what, like, you formed a plan. And I would really have a hard time, even if it were true, which I will grant him credit, it's probably true. You didn't do anything before we broke up. But the speed, the atomic chain reaction you created in 11 days.
Right.
That's thermonuclear.
Right.
Like, that is scorched earth. I don't know what you were thinking that you could just, like, how you doing? Let's go, do whatever. Let's have a drink and get back together.
Right.
What? Like, props for honesty, props for following the rules, but this is worse. This is so bad.
Right.
Oh, like, I'd say even if she goes back, like, I would never let him live down. Like, I would tell everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would make me a horrible partner.
Right.
Because I don't think I would ever shut up about this.
Right.
Like 50 years. Y'all could go for 50 years in a marriage.
Uh-huh.
I'd still be talking about it.
Really?
I'm just saying, like, this is bad.
Okay.
But yeah, anyhow.
All right, so let's check that poll out. Ooh, you are not the asshole for not wanting to do your job at your family holiday or any other social event.
Is anyone surprised? Raise of hands.
I'm just so shocked that people don't want to do their job during the holidays. Give me a break.
OP's mom, where is your head?
Somewhere
Where is your head? Like, wow. I'm going to struggle with that one for a while, too.
Right.
Like, oof. Alrighty.
All right, guys. With that, we do want to take a moment to thank the ones that make this possible and support this broadcast so much.
Oh, yeah. So we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, Bella, and Maria Meyer. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Exactly. All right, guys. We do have some major announcements coming up over the next week and a half. Stay tuned to those. If you are a Patreon, I'm hoping you're enjoying your 25 days to taking control back. If you're an Inner Circle member, I hope you're enjoying your 24 days of reclaiming your witch's spirituality. And with that, we will see you on Friday. Yay!
Yay!
Bye, y'all.
Good night.